Big Dad, I got to tell you, man, it is like such an honor and a privilege to be talking to you. And just so I'm sensitive of your time, do you have another interview lined up right after this?
It's an hour away, so fire away, man. We'll take our time with it.
All right, brother. Well, you know what? I got to tell you, first off, I got to mention my friend and official, press photographer for Rock Titan, Ambler Irby, out with Ambler right out of the gate because she turned me on to you guys. And Ambler loves you all to pieces. And I got a real funny photo that I'm going to put probably in this interview. I'll put it in there where she's reaching up and she's grabbing your nip at one of the festivals and you're like reaching down and grabbing her hair and you got all your guys around you, and oh man, it's just awesome. But yeah, dude, I mean, oh, she turned me on to Texas, Hippie Coalition years ago, and man, I've been hooked ever since. I've been hooked ever
Awesome.
since. But yeah, Big Dad Ritch, thank you. So everybody, welcome back to Rock Titan. I'm Scotty J, and man, I got to tell y'all right now. The guest we have with us is someone I have been waiting on a long, long time, ever since Out with Ambler, our very own Ambler Irby, press photographer, a very good friend of ours at Rock Titan, turned me on to Texas Hippie Coalition. And we are here with the king of Texas, Saint of El Paso, Big Dad Ritch, right now. What's going on, sir?
Hiding out, laying low, baby.
Oh, man. So you guys have been touring like crazy, not that that's something unfamiliar to you all, but how's the tour trail been so far? And I know April's going to be very exciting, but how's everything been going?
Man, it seems as crazy as it sounds, seems to get easier as you go. Nobody's paychecks get any bigger, but the wheels that we roll on, they get bigger, and the ride gets nicer. But you know, it's uh, it's all good as long as we're getting to our destination and making it home to our families. And we are. So
Right on,
thank the
man.
Lord.
Right on. Now, speaking of wheels, speaking of tires, I want to get to that in a little bit, but you've got your brand new album, The Name Lives On, coming out April 21st. Everybody, The Name Lives On, April 21st. And I have had a chance as a media person to get a advance observation of it all. I've already had a chance to take it all in. I'll probably listen to it 10 times. And it's amazing. And they've already got Hellhounds out there, single, and amazing official music video. And that's been doing very, very well. Big Dad Ritch, I got to ask you, for Hellhounds, off The Name Lives On, coming out April 21st, did you have any idea what the end result was going to be ahead of time? Because this was like heavy CGI. I mean, this was like stuff that Beavis and Butthead would have been going crazy over. Did you have any idea what was going on with this when you were doing it?
When it comes to my videos, or when it comes to the videos for THC, I'm very heavily involved. I do all the layout, all the shots. We discuss them all ahead of time. Usually, I go to the director with everything that I want in there and
Wow.
how I want to look, and then when I'm there, I don't want to step on the director's toes, and I don't want to be a part of what's going on. But pretty much the whole vision of the video is laid out in my head beforehand. Um,
Wow.
One great thing about being able to work with Justin Reich is that he can even make some of my ideas look better. Um, like on the lava and stuff, how it was coming up, and
Yeah.
it's what I wanted, but I did not expect it to be that epic, and it was just totally wicked to me. So, yeah, this is actually probably one of the easiest videos I've ever made. So, expect us to be using green screen again in the future.
Yeah, kind of like what you see right now, but it's not going to be like that by the time everyone who's watching it right now sees it.
Yeah.
You're seeing a little something that not everybody else is going to see. But yeah, I'm thinking we're going to throw the cover up for Hellhounds or The Name Lives On, which is the final track of your new album, which is awesome. But but getting to Hellhounds. you know, and everyone, if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go check it out because it is awesome. You know, Big Dad Ritch in all his glory, the rest of the band, Texas Hippie Coalition, it's freaking awesome. But you're riding around on a hog. Now, I have to imagine you've probably got like a mean Harley in real life. Do you not? You got to have a chopper or two
No, no.
or three.
I grew up riding. You know, my dad had an Indian, and I
Okay.
rode quite often. And it's just at this point in my life, you know, I wouldn't have a chance to um, really put it to good use and put the miles on it that it deserves. So I think here in the near future, you might see me grab something up. But that right there is a Jesse James West Coast chopper that I'm riding in that video, and it's a great little piece. Belongs to a good buddy of mine, Emery Foster.
Oh, right on. Okay. So that was not just like stage prop. That was the real deal.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Jesse James from West Coast Choppers. I think this one might have been made in Austin, Texas. He's down in Texas now. So I like Jesse's got a lot of nice guns he's making down there as well.
Yeah, right on. Well, you know, we all love your microphone. You know, it's got the classic double barrel action. You've been using that for years.
Oh,
Same deal?
that's no, that was made for me by Rebel Iron out of Florida. David is a great guy, and he made that the guitar that's on the album cover as well, the metal guitar. It's like a Dean replica. It's got you know, it's got a ranch for a crescent ranch, whatever it is. Got a ranch for the whammy bar, and it's got an oil can on there. You know, I mean, it's got Texas license plate. It's super sweet piece of artwork, and that's the way I see that in the mic stand. It's just great pieces of art, you know, and I just take it with me everywhere I go. That mic stand's my, you know, I toured with Black Label Society for about 6-8 shows one time, and
Oh, right.
asked earlier on if there was maybe be a chance I could get a picture taken with the big boss man. I never seen him. I never seen him. I never get to get my picture taken, and then
Zakk?
I'm
You haven't hung out with Zakk?
no, I didn't get to. I mean, at this time, you know, he had just quit drinking. You know, I'm a heavy drinker. Probably
Okay.
best to remove myself from my presence, you know. But whenever I know, I mean, I don't think he was being disrespectful or anything. I just know that he was going through a lot at that time. He had his mind on sobriety and still being able to rock and kick ass.
Right
First
on.
tour, first tour with in that with that kind of passion for him. So
Right
I'm
on.
sure it was something that had to do with, you know, nothing to do with me or anything like that. But I did. A buddy of mine came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I snapped a picture of Zakk today. He was getting his picture taken with your microphone stand."
I tell you what, man, you and your microphone stand, it's like, you know, it makes me think of like Rob Zombie with his crazy microphone stand. And, you know, even Steve Tyler with Aerosmith, even though, you know, never anything really personalized uh, from a architectural perspective, you know, but the way he's got all his ribbons and sashes and everything all around it. You know,
Yeah,
I love the way you own it because that is like, that's so signature Big Dad Ritch. And,
yeah, I love Korn's microphone stand as well, and I'm actually
oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
right on.
having a new microphone stand that will move like that. It's in the shape of a cross, and it has two oversized 6-shooters that go on each side of the cross, and on top of it, it has like a scope uh, crosshairs on it, and
Yeah.
hoping to have that by year's end from Rebel Iron, and I can just grab a hold of both of the 6-shooters and lean it back and sing into it. It's gonna have a Shure 55, like an old Elvis Presley type microphone for it. Can't wait to have that baby made.
Oh man, I can't wait to see it. Oh man, I got to catch up with you guys on tour. I have got to catch up with you guys on tour, and I know it's going to be an amazing tour trail. One of the things I want to get to, Big Dad, and this is something that you know, our friend Ambler, again, she turned me on to, because I wasn't necessarily familiar with being patched by Texas Hippie Coalition. You know, I wasn't familiar with that whole honor that you bestow upon some of your most loyal people. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is? Like, explain to the fans right now that may not already be familiar with getting patched by Texas Hippie Coalition. What's that all about?
Right on, man. Well, we're all about faith, family, and freedom, and we're not afraid to go forward bravely.
Right on.
We're not. Sorry, I lost you there for a second. We're not afraid to go forward bravely and speak our minds and speak from our hearts. So, a lot of bands have a lot of fans, and we feel like our fans are more like family. So we created where we call them family, FANMILY,
I love it.
and that family of ours, we have a core group that I started in the beginning. I would give people family member patches, and then once it got to going, we started letting the family members who were already patched in, they could nominate someone, and it goes to public vote. We usually take a few of those, and then I add in a couple every year. And every year on around 420, this year it's on 428 at the Yukon Ballroom in near Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Um, and we'll be giving away those family member patches. We do a big banquet. It's like a total meet and greet thing where everybody gets to eat food together. We auction off stuff. We have everybody gets a ticket when they come in. We draw. We give away a bunch of free stuff. We give away cowboy hats signed by me and the band that I worn on tour. We sign guitars, and some we auction, some we draw for. It's just a great night. Every year you get somebody inducted in. I think right now I don't even think there's 200 people. We've been doing it this is our 18th year to do this. And
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think the most people we ever inducted at one time was 24, but it's been as low as 2. So it's very different. And why you get patched in is totally different. It could be the fact that you came to 100 shows, 10 shows. However you showed your support. I mean, sounds like Amber might need to be patched in. She's turning so many people on to us.
Okay, Big Dad, I'm telling you right now, Ambler, Irby, absolutely should be patched by Texas Hippie Coalition, 100%. I'm just saying, I mean, she was at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and I know you were down there with Hell's a Poppin' and Shorty Dangerously, an amazing guy. I know he's been patched for a while, and
Yep.
of course, he was in your music video, Moonshine, on your last album. And man, I tell you what, that thing's got so many millions of hits. I think I'm probably responsible for at least 1 million of them, because Moonshine is one of the most awesome videos and most awesome songs I've ever heard and seen. I mean, so
man, I tell you, whenever I brought that song to the table, I don't think that
yeah,
I don't think the label was prepared for that song. I just, for some reason, that song hits from a totally different direction than anything that was in the market at that time. And all the stuff that they were pushing and they were working with, it was very different from all that stuff from BLS, Avatar, Pop Evil, and all that stuff. And for us to come in there with that, and it's so dirty, it's so raw, what we like to call swampy.
yeah.
And then for it just to blow up. I mean, I think I know it's like around 8 million, something like that.
It's over 9 now, Big Dad. It's over 9.
Okay, well, good. Y'all help us get to 10 million, and but for it to take off, I think the label was very surprised, and I'm glad that we can every once in a while change people's view of us just by producing. We do the job, we do the work, and it shows in the end. And that video, when I put that video together, and I was telling Jason about it, he goes, "Man, this sounds like a Quentin Tarantino flick or something." This is going to be great. So yeah, it came off smoothly. We used a lot of family members, people that were patched in, We tried to use all the people that had patched in and were family members. We tried to use them in the video. So there's no real actors in the video. These are all friends and family members, except for maybe a couple of the younger girls. They were family members that were patched in. They were their sisters or their girlfriends, so to speak.
Well, that was an amazing production. That was an amazing production. And I mean, with that, High in the Saddle did so well. And I mean, you had, in my opinion, and I think that, you know, the broader music community, you know, the critics and whatnot, acknowledged the same, that you had some real awesome singles off of that, Moonshine just being one of them. But when you think about this going up against The Name Lives On, you know, I mean, it's coming out April 21st, everybody, The Name Lives On. Do you have any particular levels of anxiety or anything that this is going to live up to what you did with High in the Saddle? Because I think you set the bar really, really high with that. What are your personal thoughts, professional thoughts?
Man, you know, I don't really ever have anxiety. Like I'm, you know, when people talk about having butterflies and stuff like that, for me, the larger the crowd, the bigger the crowd, the more I'm ready to get. I want to get in the octagon and get after it. You know what I mean? So
Right on, man.
that's totally different thing. Don't really have anxiety, but I
God
do
bless you.
know that. Yeah, I'm lucky. I mean, I'm crazy. Believe me, I'm mentally ill. Just like
Everybody these days seems to have it, you know. I do a little bit, but, you know.
I mean, they say that if you're an artist, that there's a 73% chance. So I'm pretty sure, or I think it's 70% of all artists are mental, have mental issues. So I'm one of that 73% for sure. You know, living up to, you know, every album, you're always worried that it's not going to do what your last album did, and you want to get to the you want to you want to get to the next level every time. You know, it's just like any company out there in the world. Whenever you turning in your year-end statement, you want to show that you made more profit than you did in the year before. One thing about Texas Hippie Coalition is we're not a household name. We're not known around the world in a complete fashion like a lot of these big bands like Rob Zombie you mentioned earlier. You know, so for us, people are constantly discovering us. I've often just thought that we must be the most discovered band on the planet because every comment underneath the new song is like, where have these guys been? Why have I never known about them? Why am I just now finding out about them? And that's the way it is that we're just now getting introduced to the masses. Last album, you know, we seen like a something like a 33% climb on followers and social media. I don't know much about social media. I don't mess with them much. But whenever it come to like our Spotify doubled. Just a lot of things where people were following us, they would double. And it just seems for us that we just keep getting discovered. And I think that this album is already doing that. So that's good with me. As long as we keep getting in people's ears and people are like, wow, how come I don't know about these guys? You know, we need people like you.
Well, I'll tell you what, Big
Ambler,
Dad, it's funny. It's funny you say that because that is exactly what I told Ambler when she turned me on to you guys. I was like, what? Like how did I not hear about you guys earlier? Because as soon as I started listening to your music, you know, I was just like, my wheelhouse. Like this is what I love to listen to, you know. And you know, I'm thinking that your relationship with E1, who's putting this album out as well, this new album that you have coming out April 21st, everybody. That's gotta help a bit. Yeah, I mean, is that something that you thought about? You know, being the man behind Texas Hippie Coalition. Did you look at that as like a, you know, a business move that had to be made?
You know, I really think that when we got with E1, which is MNRK now,
Right. Okay.
yeah. So when we got with them, you know, I felt like I didn't feel like it was a sideways move. I felt like it was a step up, and they really handle things aggressively as far as from an album release standpoint, which is something that as an independent, it's a little bit harder to do. And I know the MNRK is an independent label, but man, they are,
Oh,
you know, if they're
right.
largest. So,
You just
I
look
mean,
at
they
the
got,
roster, you know.
oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Now, you know, you talk about being independent, you talk about being like a lesser known band and things like that. I tell you what, I mean, and you talked about being out on tour with Black Label Society earlier, and you know, trying to get you a chance to hang out with Mr. Zakk Wylde, who I love and adore. He's like one of the greatest guitarists like ever, and the fact that he's with Pantera right now, I think, is awesome. And I don't know how anyone could sneeze at that, or he and Charlie being a part of it, because I think that, you know, that the Abbott brothers would fully endorse that. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Texas Hippie Coalition, and I think that you guys,
I have
honestly,
next hour.
yeah, right on.
Being,
I think if you had the chance to go out on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I've seen them over 30 times in my lifetime. So I mean, I'd venture to say way over 30, but I know at least 30 times, and I think that I know I'm going to go at least once or twice with this lineup, and I know Zakk will, and what's the drummer's name again?
Charlie Benante, Anthrax.
Yeah, Anthrax boy. Yeah, I know that back in the day, when Pantera first started, they were running with Anthrax up in Jersey, New York area up there, you know, and that the Anthrax guys would take them, give them a place to stay here and there. So I'm sure they're all really good friends. And then, of course, we all have seen Zakk and Dimebag's relationship grow throughout the years and where it was. So
sure,
what a great lineup. And, you know, like Rich Brown to me he's just a living legend. And if you don't think I'm not influenced by Phil, there's definitely something wrong with you, because I'm heavily influenced by Phil for sure. So anytime you want to talk about a Texas band, I got hours for you.
Right on, brother. Big Dad Ritch, Texas Hippie Coalition. Yeah, I tell you what, if you had a chance to get out there with the current lineup of Pantera, and again, you know, for everybody out there, I mean, come on. I mean, we know Vinny and Dimebag. I mean, come on. I mean, there's no point even having that conversation. But the fact that Charlie and Zakk are, you know, stepping up there and trying to, you know, keep that legacy going, I can't think of anyone better. But that being said, I mean, if you got out there with those guys, which you certainly deserve to share the stage with them, but some other bands that immediately jumped out at me that I think would, you know, put you on the map, even though I'm just floored that Texas Hippie Coalition isn't like a primetime headliner, because you certainly have all the chops to be that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you right now, but I'm thinking of guys like Kid Rock. I'm thinking of Ted Nugent, you know, like absolutely. You should be on the trail with those guys. Have you ever toured with Kid Rock or Ted Nugent before?
I have not, and man, but you talk, you know, it's like people are always asking me, you know, what is your dream? You know, what would your dream be? I would love to go out, you know, I would love to go out with Pantera. You know, of course, that goes without saying. I don't think I have to really mention that. But like Kid Rock, man, if I could get out there with Kid Rock, and you know, I think we see things from a lot of the same angles, and I think we could kill it as opening for Kid Rock, because we are so massive with our live show, and the intensity level is so high that it is like a constant bombardment. I mean, it's just like being in the thick of, you know, an air raid, and it just does not stop. Not too long ago, we played with the Toadies, and when we came off stage, the lead singer of the Toadies like, man, you don't even let them come up for air, do you? You know, you know, he goes, and I don't know if I didn't hear, you know, this constant bombardment that, you know, you ever thought about writing a ballad, you know? So, you know, and that's the thing about Texas Hippie Coalition is our ballads are murderous. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, I would love to open for those guys. That's right there is just as good a fit as Pantera, definitely Kid Rock or Ted Nugent, and
Corrosion of Conformity is another one that immediately sprung to my mind.
Corrosion of Conformity was my all-time favorite band after Pantera, and I was like, just always just loved that band. I mean, Pepper Keenan is my hero. I mean, like I look at that, that's who I idolize, you know, to be able to write songs like him, and
Pepper,
be able to
Woody,
do.
Dean, those guys are all cool as hell.
Oh
Yeah.
God! And I went to Corrosion of Conformity, and then they introduced me to my current favorite band, which has probably been my favorite band for 20 years now, at least. Clutch.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! How could? Yes, absolutely. How could I leave them out?
Clutch,
Yeah.
I love them so much that, like, we played with them in 2012, and we called it. I forget how they build it at the thing, but we called it the last show on Earth because it was like the the last day on the Mayan calendar was the day that we did this show, and we called it the last show on Earth, and we through our promotions. And man, like that night, I got to meet him, and Neil. Like when I use my lyrical content and I'm putting songs together, I tend to like say stuff or even invent a word just to make it just be absolutely perfect. And I got that from him, that to be able to realize that I shouldn't be bound by the English language. I should be able to do all these different things. And so I got that from Neil, definitely heavily influenced. And when I met him, I was like, I was like, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm a fan, a humongous fan, and I don't want to turn into a leg humper here, so I better get away from you. Every
man.
time, it's always very nice and polite. And I seen him at the Carolina Rebellion, and I had some barbecue that I have. I have my own barbecue, bucking crazy. And I went over there and I gave him a bottle of barbecue. And what I did, for some reason, I just started hugging him like he was family. I love you, man. And I bet he was just like, oh my God, but, this big old boy on me in the heat of Carolina. And but man, I'll be danged if every time I see him, he is kind enough to. Even one day I didn't see him, and I was walking by, and he like reached out and was like, hey man, I was like, oh, that made me feel so good because I have so much respect for him, and I love Clutch. It possibly one of the best bands to ever exist, and I mean, like I'm putting them up there with Led Zeppelin.
Look at you, man. God, see now, I could honestly see a scenario with Neil Fallon is saying the same thing about you, Big Dad. I mean. Yeah, and I've loved Clutch for a real long time too. And Neil was nice enough to speak with me a couple of times because I didn't get the sense that he loves interviews, and I know he doesn't necessarily love doing official music videos like Texas Hippie Coalition does, but he does them, and he's very nice. He's got, you guys should collaborate like somehow, like because your particular voices, your sound, your tone, man, that would be cool. That would be cool.
One thing that Neil suffers with, and I'm sure that, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I know that somehow I suffer with it some, is that I'm an introvert in an outrovert world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I have to turn it on. I have a great friend, DJ out of Denver, Willie B, that works for KBPI there. And every morning, he's the morning guy. So every morning he's got to be chipper and a great mood and get you through your day. You're driving to work, he wants to make you feel great. And then I kind of, as a singer and a front man, when you go out there, you kind of have to convey that to, your audience. This is a party, we're having fun, and it's go time, And man, I tell you what, that it's easy to do because you love it, but it's also hard to do because it's just the physicality that, when you're not 6 in a row on tour and you've driven, 60 hours, over the past 5 days, and it's just a constant, you're going there, you're going here. Anything that's put down has got to be moved somewhere else. I mean, it's just, and you're going, you get tired, but if you truly love it, you can take it on, and the world will never even know that you had it's just a pinch of struggle. They wouldn't even know you had it if you love it. But if you don't love it, everybody's going to know.
Right on. Right on. Well, I know you got to get going, Big Dad, and I don't want to hog all your time because I could easily talk to you for like, for hours on end. And one of these days when I'm as big as Joe Rogan, I'll have a few hours to be able to do that because I know you and I could have some fun, sitting back on some fine whiskey, no doubt. But all right, so some parting thoughts here. Because I know you guys are getting ready to resume the tour trail. You're on a little break right now because I know you guys have been touring real aggressive. But in terms of everything that's going to be going on here, because again, the name lives on, everybody. That's going to be coming out April 21st. Hellhounds is out right now. Do you have any other singles or official music videos that might be coming out before the album drops?
Not before the album. Okay. But I believe there'll be 2 more singles for sure, 2 more videos, of course, to go along with those singles. Nice. And if everything does well, I mean, they're in discussions, they felt like there was 3 strong ones and that there was 2 follow-ups, and they felt like the 4th one was still very strong, was only getting kicked out because the first 3 were so strong. So to hear stuff like that come from a label, it makes you really feel good because you don't normally hear stuff like that. Maybe some of these great musicians do, but I don't. And to have them feel that way and be looking forward to some more videos, that's great. But on the release date on the 21st, we're at the Wild Goose in Colorado. That's just outside of Denver, Colorado there, the Wild Goose. We're having a CD release party on Friday the 21st. It's treated like a total meet and greet. It's half the price of a meet and greet price, and you get a CD with your entry fee. So I think it's $30 to get in. You get the new CD, The Name Lives On. You get to have dinner with the band. You get to listen to the CD with everybody in the house. And we're going to do a Q&A, and everybody gets to get the picture taken. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be massive. We can't wait for that day. Hosted by Willie B and everybody over at KBPI. So something we're looking forward to doing coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Well, Big Dad, I got to tell you, if E1 is excited about the music that you guys are putting out, right now coming up April 21st, The Name Lives On, everybody. I gotta think that a tour with Pantera and Kid Rock and Ted Nugent and Clutch and Corrosion of Conformity is well in the works. This must happen. If not in 2023, definitely 2024.
I sure hope so, man. Thank you so much. I'd love to take the stage with any of those guys. It'd be an honor and a pleasure. And I'll keep praying on it. And good luck to you, getting that status.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Joe Rogan, he sets the bar high. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is nothing low to be talking about at all. But one thing I got to plant in your head one last time, Big Dad. Ambler Irby, out with Ambler. Rock Titan's press photographer, and she doesn't just do work for me. She does amazing photography work for others as well, and she's a big animal lover. And even then, she's a bigger advocate of Texas Hippie Coalition. And she's a major advocate and getting a voice out there. So if she were to be patched, I'll tell you what, next time you guys, go around doing something like that, I'm just saying, she'd be good. If not, she might have to tweak her other nipple. You know what I mean? She'll be grabbing that. But oh man. Well, Big Dad, thank you again. And everybody, we are here with Big Dad Ritch from Texas Hippie Coalition, and they got their brand new album coming out April 21st, like we've all talked about. And again, if you haven't seen the official music video, Hellhounds, out there right now, it's absolutely amazing. And everything's cool. Well, be safe out there on the road, man.
Peace, brothers. Take care.
You got it. Scotty J, you're watching Rock Titan. We're out. Thanks again for watching. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also catch us at www.rocktitan.tv.